Eric, what if I told you you could grow your gym big time in just 60 minutes a day?
Yeah, I already did that.
Eric, you're giving away the suspense, but we have a lot of time for the golden hour here. So this is Run a Profitable Gym. I'm Mike Workinen. We don't have time for matrix jokes and shenanigans. We're all busy gym owners. So we're going to get to the point. Chris Cooper's golden hour concept. You can measurably improve your gym in just 60 minutes a day. Now, it probably sounds too good to be true because I would have blown my mind a few years ago, but Eric is going to be the proof today that you can actually use this concept to get huge results. Before we talk to Eric, get Chris Cooper's ninth book. Yes, number 9. It is the golden hour. It is a link in the show notes. You can get it and you can use it to create a daily growth plan, 60 minutes a day to make your gym better. It's not a book you read, it's a book you do. Coop's going to lead you through it and make sure that you are ready to go. And if you want to join us for the Golden Hour Challenge that Coop is leading, that starts November 1st. Be sure to join gymownersunited.com where he will lead you through this thing. But get that book. Link in the show notes. The simple concept, you're going to use your most productive hour of the day to do only the things that are going to push your business forward. You're going to repeat that forever. That's the summary. My guest, Eric Connor, used it. He runs CrossFit Reform in Rancho Santa Margarita near LA. He's in a saturated market for CrossFit gyms, yet he is crushing it. He's used the concept with great results. So let's get to it. Welcome here to Eric.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, man?
We're good. The clock is ticking on our golden hour, and I've already used up 3 minutes with an intro. So let's dig in. When you first opened your business, serious question though, what if I told you that you could actually get measurable results in just 60 minutes a day? What would that have done for you?
I would have been honestly amazed.
Me too.
It never seemed like it would be that simple. And yeah, it felt like we just had to do everything all the time to try to work things. So to narrow it down to that would have been sounding like it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, because you get this thing as an entrepreneur where you're like, if I grind more is better, right? It's like CrossFit. I'll do more CrossFit and I'll get better CrossFit. Eventually, you get burned out and so forth. But same thing with gym owners. We think we'll push really hard, but what we end up doing is the wrong things. And I have so many stories about stupid things that I did thinking I was saving time and money, and it wasn't building my business. I was just fishing a broken key out of a lock, right? Dumb stuff like that. So, it was news to me too. So why does this sound so much like snake oil to a busy gym owner? Like, what's the deal there? I hinted at it here, but what do you think's the problem?
It just arguably it sounds too easy. It sounds
right?
Like it sounds very funny that way, but it's like almost when we hear about the quick pill or the lose weight fast scheme or these kind of things, like it seems fake and not like it's actually it can actually bring the right results that we actually want, other than just something quick and to the point. So yeah, it just seems fake.
But if you did the right things in 1 hour versus the wrong things for 12 hours, you'd probably get better results. When I say it like that, it sounds simple, but it actually sounds really true, as opposed to just saying 60 minutes to grow your business, which sounds like one of those bait and switch things, but it works. And Eric's going to tell us about it. So let's jump into that. What's your story with the golden hour? What did you do and how'd you get results?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've been an owner for 11 years now, right? So it's not like it's a new thing to be an owner. And even just more recently, refining my own personal time has been huge, right? I've learned, like we just said, too much doesn't really help, or trying to do too many things, or trying to do too many things inefficiently or the wrong things doesn't help.
Yep.
So over time, I had to realize, I've kind of blocked off time, or I've had downtime that I can work on the business, but sometimes it was just getting the list done, not actually like doing the things to grow the business. So now blocking off and segmenting actually my time and then being aware exactly what clearly I want to be doing with that to move the gym forward has been profoundly different.
So the golden hour, Chris recommends you do it first thing, because that's when Chris is most productive, and most people are the most productive because you can push all the stuff away and get going before anyone else knocks on your door and starts bugging you with stuff. That doesn't mean you have to do it there. We have a FAQ about this that says, you can place this where it's most productive. Eric, do you use the first hour of your day?
Generally, yes. I've learned over time that I am much more productive in the morning. I am not a night owl by any means. And I've also learned that as the day goes on, I need to be more reactive to things that go on in my day, family, business, just clientele, that I get too cluttered that I can't actually go back to focusing.
And that's so common. You're not alone on that.
Okay. That's good to know. So traditionally I usually have 2 personal training clients back to back, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. usually 6 to 7 a.m. or 6 to 8 a.m., 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. clients. And I get there early. I'm okay. I get the one done. One of my clients, the 7 a.m., had to stop because of personal reasons and family stuff and life stuff, right? So sometimes I used to like to work out then or whatever it is. I was like, you know what? This is the perfect time. I'm just going to take this time. I'm going to use that to grow the business. I'm already used to being working. But even right in the beginning when that happened, I kept doing it at the gym in my office and I was still too distracted. So I'm too social. I hear things, I hear the music and I hear some people talking, having fun. And then I can't stay focused.
I get it.
We have a coffee shop just down the street. I go out to the coffee shop now, grab a coffee, go to the far end where nobody's going to talk to me, kind of turn my back and plug my computer in and just get focused on those Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. That was the first start. And then the other, Tuesday, Thursdays, I used to kind of let myself sleep in. Now I'm getting up before the kids wake up. And from 6 to 7 a.m., I'm in the office. I was here this morning from 6 to 7 a.m. working on my golden hour tasks at home before the day starts.
Okay, so you took what is essentially a high value hour where you're working with a personal training client one-on-one, and you're using it as an even more higher value hour to now be a CEO where you're going to focus on your gym. And Chris has a framework here. It's the golden framework. It's an acronym here. And you just laid it out. Go to a place where you can focus. That's the G. O is open your mind. Do you do anything with that?
Yeah, I legitimately do. Just kind of like we've called it a brain dump before.
Yeah.
I am very infamous for having so many things in my head.
Okay.
So this is just a good task for me to do anyway. So I literally just write down what's going on in my head. Sometimes it's just to-dos for the day. Sometimes it's things I missed the day before. So I just write them all down. And that's kind of sometimes a to-do list later, but it just helps clear my head.
How long does it take to do that?
2 to 5 minutes at the most.
Yeah. So you're just basically backing up your hard drive essentially and getting that stuff out of your head. And then you're moving on to stuff. Okay. So let's look at L. Chris's L here is lead with marketing reps. What do you do? What do you do after you have that brain dump?
Yeah. So there's a few different things that I focus on with my golden hour times with regards to marketing. And they're talked about kind of in some of our weekly marketing focuses, but the ones that we do naturally really well, but that are like the highest bang for their buck, are usually like reaching out to former clients or connecting with like non-converted leads. Those are the really good ones because we already have rapport with some of them or we've already spoken to them. So sometimes it's connecting with them on certain days. And then other ones, it's also reaching out to our current members to check in on how they're doing, arguably kind of do a natural check-in. Maybe it's MIA members or whatever that is. So those we kind of naturally do. Some days I have that. The more recent ones that I've been spending more of my time has been connecting and writing to our email list, repurposing it into a blog, repurposing it into a social media post, because we have 3,000 people on our clientele list and we never really did much to talk to them.
Wow. 3,000. That's a good number.
Yeah. And so I was like, this is something that we've never really done, but I didn't really have the focus for because I didn't have the time to let my brain think. And this is the time to do that.
Okay. So listeners, if you stop right now, just at GOL, goal spelled wrong, you've got a thing that you could do. You could literally sit there and take about 10 minutes a morning and just reconnect with old members who are gone. You're going to get some of them back, guaranteed. You could call members who are just on the fence. We haven't seen them in a week or two and find out where they are and why they're not working out and how you get them back in the gym. And then you could look at your lead list, people maybe who booked an appointment but didn't show up, or leads that just didn't book. You could find ways to connect with them on social media. Hey, I saw you looked at our gym. What can I answer any questions for you? I'm free right now, right? All of these things, if you just did this right now without going any further, you're going to get some clients and you're going to improve your retention. Those are huge, huge things. Did you see, Eric, when you started doing this simple stuff, did you see like measurable changes right away?
Yeah, actually I did. Which was great.
Yeah.
So it's, we're in a higher volume area just with regards to people and all that kind of stuff. So like we definitely get people from brand new leads, from old people coming back, from checking into whatever, right? And referrals. So we've actually in 4 weeks, we've grown 5% of our head count, which is our total member count, just from reaching back out to these people.
Really? So just reaching out in an hour, and it didn't even take you the full hour every day, I'm sure, but you grew your head count by 5%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that golden hour is working for you already. And these are just the simple marketing reps. Guys, when Chris leads you through this thing starting November 1st, he's going to tell you exactly what to do and he's going to stack these habits. So it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, we're going to do this and we're going to get that in place. Then we're going to work on the other tasks. He's not going to overwhelm you with a giant checklist. It's going to be do this simple thing, do this simple thing, let's make sure it's done. It's going to take you a little bit longer to start because your habits aren't formed. Once they start to form, you're going to be able to crush things very, very quickly. That's the habit stacking, and it's going to be very, very cool. So Eric talked about some of the things that he started with and some of the things he's added. Do we want to go on to D, on to do your big projects, or do you have anything else on the lead with marketing reps that you want to talk about?
Not terribly. I mean, part of my doing the other growth projects are partially some of this. Yep. Because it needs to be simplistic. Yeah. So I do both. So no, not necessarily with the marketing reps.
So that's what Chris has space in here for. You're going to lead with those marketing reps, and maybe for the first bit, that's all you get to, and that's totally okay. Then you've got your big projects, and again, I'm not going to get too much into that because you could find so many different big projects that you could work on. But Eric, is there any example of a big project that you might work on at your business or you've completed in the past that you could share with listeners?
Yeah. So like for example, we haven't had to refine ours currently, but like fixing our 90-day journey or our client journey.
Yeah.
Right. So how often we check in with our people, when are they falling off? How do we keep them more engaged? How do we keep them in longer? That's one of the ones that really helps, obviously keep people around and give them a better experience or developing our staff.
So that's huge. So let's just say, listeners, if you're following along, you take 5 minutes to do your brain dump, you take 10 or 15 minutes to connect with some leads, then you might build a 90-day client journey that defines every touch point from the time a client becomes a lead until the client hits the 90-day mark in your business, and you're looking at how do I retain them as long as possible. That would be a major important project that you could do. You could also work on your affinity marketing funnel. You could work on a whole bunch of other things. Staff communications, that'd be another important one. How do I get my staff to see my vision and implement it? These are huge CEO level tasks that you can do in this golden hour. Chris will then say end after 1 hour. That's E, and then N is next step. So Eric, do you lay out anything at the end of that hour so that you have momentum going into the next golden hour?
Yeah, completely. That has significantly helped me as well, because like often, like I said, I have a lot of things in my head, and if I don't know what exactly it is, it can go to different directions. Yep. So typically it'll depend, right? If my marketing tasks, so for me with writing longer, it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes it's how I want to refine that or how I want to change that the next morning. Or it's working on the other tasks at hand. Some of the things that were my brain dump or the ones that have been, my tasks that I'm focused on for growing the business other than the marketing one. So yeah, I definitely outline it.
Yeah. Do you write it down like tomorrow morning, do this?
Yeah, I literally had it. So this morning, for example, I was outlining a whole interview that we had with a member that lost 40 pounds over the last 6 months, and put that together in its own blog and its emailer. And then now I'm going to next make it into a social post and all that tomorrow.
Okay. So you know exactly what you're doing, which means you don't have to get up and say, what should I do to grow my gym? You've already made that decision. You know what it is. Chris has talked about Ernest Hemingway used to, I think he started halfway through the next sentence or something like that, so that when he was writing, he would stop. He knew what the next sentence was. When he picked up his pen next, he would just finish it and keep going. I really like that one. I like to give myself easy stuff where I don't stop an article I'm writing at a hard part. I like to stop at an easy part, lay out and then you're going to write this. And I sometimes even send it to myself in an email for the next morning where I wake it up. It's like, do this thing right now. You get some momentum. So figure that out. But that's next steps. So that's the essence, is the golden hour. I'll just give you the review again. Go to a place where you can focus, open your mind, lead with marketing reps, do your big projects, end after 1 hour, and next steps. Now, Eric is not just a gym owner. He's actually a two-brain mentor. So Eric, you've discovered something really interesting with the golden hour. What prevents gym owners from dialing in this simple habit that gets results?
Well, often it's just that they think of too many things and they don't actually do it, right? So the first time I kind of saw all these marketing focuses, they seem very basic. They look really easy, and they really are. But what makes us do it consistently and not overwhelm ourselves with it, right? So I would say people often think of too many things, just like we always get distracted by something new and interesting and fun. Instead of just doing the basics, doing it well, testing it, and then either repeating it continually, or if it's becoming a habit, now adding a new one. Becoming a habit, adding a new one.
Do you help your mentees stack these habits like this? Because I know that like as a gym owner, there's so many things you could do. And I know that some mentees will get on it and they're like, wow, my business is on fire. I have 1,000 things to do. Do you stack habits with your mentees to help them build these things so that they become a regular part of the routine?
Yeah, completely. And again, even since bringing these concepts up to them, we have continually narrowed them down. Mm-hmm. That was my bigger challenge in the beginning. I saw these things and I was like, okay, let's do this and let's do this and this. And then it was like, we'd get on a next call and they kind of did one or kind of didn't really do any. Like, okay, well, what do we need to do here? How do we outline this? And a lot of them, it was just putting the right time in their calendar and sticking to it and helping keep them accountable to actually making it happen. Right. So it's arguably the basics, but and learning each person and what's going to help them, but it's really not doing too much at once.
Yeah. And so you just laid out a key concept here, and it's a habit, which could be blocking off a 1 hour block of time to hit your golden hour stuff. So that's your habit. You just do that, and you do that every day. And your mentor checks in and says, did you do it? Yes, I did it. You keep doing it. What that builds into is the entrepreneurial skill of focus, where you learn how to just take this time and do the most important thing. And if you're listening right now and you can't figure out what the most important simple thing is to grow your business, that's where a mentor comes in, because a mentor can look at your metrics, look at your data and say, hey, I've analyzed all these things, length of engagement, average revenue per member, all these other things. And you say, this is the one you need to work on right now because it's going to do better. So let's focus. We're going to raise your rates because your ARM is too low. We're going to do it like this. Tomorrow morning, you do this part, this part, this part. Everything is laid out step by step. And that's where a mentor can help you. So if you're sitting here saying, I don't know what to do in my golden hour, you can work with a mentor to do it. If you're not ready to do that, join Chris's Golden Hour Challenge, where he's going to lead you through this thing so that you're going to stack some habits, build entrepreneurial skills, and you're going to get huge, huge momentum. Like, again, Eric, you said 5% growth of headcount just by doing this stuff. Anything else that you saw there? Like when you started pushing on this stuff, did you see other parts of your business improving?
Well, yeah, completely. Because arguably I'm getting more done more efficiently.
Yes.
And so this has been really helpful. Like I'm not just the immediate results, which is very important, but I've always been a long-term kind of focused person. Mm-hmm. So with regards to me reaching out to our people, I'm not asking right away, or I'm not trying, I may get people from these posts and these letters that I'm sending out, but more of it's building rapport, connecting with them. Right. And this is more of a long-term focus of them understanding our values, what we're doing, other offerings we have, why we're doing certain things, speaking to people and their struggles that we also have. So that's going to take time, which I'm okay with, but we were not doing some of those things like we needed to consistently. So a little combo of the two, immediate results and some of the long-term foundation.
And think about what that is. Like how often gym owners out there, how often do you send a newsletter? Some of you are going to say regularly, the rest of you are going to be like, every 7 to 12 months, right? And you're just like, you randomly send out this newsletter. It's, it's Christmas. We're January. We're starting the newsletter again. And then you just never do anything with it again. I did that. I get it. But what if you sent a newsletter every single week and it was just a quick tip, some info on what's going on in the gym and a testimonial, those 3 things bolted in, and you just sent that. And every week your leads, Eric's got 3,000 on his mailing list. They saw your name in their inbox every day, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. or whatever it was. And they just started reading your stories and reading your stories. They're not going to open all of them. That's fine. But eventually they're going to open some. They're going to read. They're going to get to know you. They're going to know some stuff. And when they start thinking, maybe I need to lose some weight, they're going to give you a call. And that's that habit that becomes an entrepreneurial skill. That's nurturing leads, building rapport, marketing. It's a huge skill. You can then apply that in any business venture that you ever wanted to do. So that's kind of the big picture of how these things work. And those reps, Chris always talks about reps, those reps get big results. So Eric, speak as a mentor. You've got a listener who's about to purchase the golden hour or think about joining that November 1st challenge that Chris is going to run. How do they get the best results? What are your tips for success?
That's a really good question. And it's going to really sound awkwardly simple, I guess you could say. So first, picking a time and putting it in, right? Putting in your calendar. Literally, it's in my calendar. I have people make fun of me because I even had like in my calendar yesterday when I needed to cut my hair, which I don't have a lot of. So it's a very short time. But like finding the time for these things and reminding myself when I need to do things, right? So putting it in the calendar. And then another kind of side tangent to that I've learned for me too is I need to not be distracted, right? So the door closing is huge, but I turn my phone on do not disturb,
That's a big one.
right? And this has been huge, right? Because there's always these things dinging at us, and my watch will kind of ding at me, and then you get seeing something, and then you're thrown off. So I'd say blocking off the time, finding a way to get do not disturb going on for one of these things, and then picking arguably one main thing to focus on that you will execute on, and working as a habit or working until you make it a habit for you, and then we can add a new thing. With that, they're not sure what to pick. I would say which thing gets the most bang for its buck first.
Yep. And I'll just tell you right now, guys, if you are stuck on what to do with what Eric just laid out, block off that time, set your phone to do not disturb, and message members you haven't seen for a week. Just do that. If you have some extra time, maybe call some departed members and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. How's your deadlift right now? Do those two things. That's it. You can move on from this podcast and be done with it just with that. Eric, how has your lifestyle changed? And it's kind of a two-part question here, because I want to know, like, let's say on one day, you've done your golden hour, the day just goes to a fiery storm of hell. How do you feel about that, right? Do you feel okay now, or are you less stressed because you've golden houred your way to some success early in the day?
Honestly, yes. Yeah. Like I'm getting more done, but I also feel less cluttered, I guess you could say.
That's the brain dump too.
Exactly. And it means that no matter what, even if something pulled me back or something went downwards or something was negative on the day, I've already done some positive things on my day, and I've started with it. Right. So it's actually been very helpful for me. Very helpful. And
that's that. Do one thing to grow your business every day before you do anything else. And then no matter what happens after that, you've still grown your business. You're right. Cause like the key is broken in the lock and someone needs this and the t-shirt sales and whatever. You're done. You already grew your business, and that's the magic of it. So the second part of that question that I hinted at, how does this organization that you put in place to get your golden hour going, how has this helped your overall lifestyle? Because you said you were a busy guy, you got a lot of stuff going on, you got kids, right? How does this help your overall lifestyle?
It's been great because I have a 7 and a 5-year-old. We have 2 older stepkids as well. And I'm very much, and early on in the owning and early on in the parenting, I was not as present as I would be proud to be. Right. So it's definitely been able to help me get more present and be more aware of what's going on with my family than worrying about this person just canceled. What do I do? Who didn't I reach out to? And so, or at least if I didn't move the business forward, from what I could control. So it's been able to help me. It's a constant work in progress, but it's been able to help me compartmentalize where my time and where my focus is without having others bleed into that and affect it.
Listeners, we're going to wrap this up here. Go to a place where you can focus, open your mind, lead with marketing reps, do your big projects, and after 1 hour, plan your next steps. That is the Golden Hour Framework. The Golden Hour is now on Amazon. It's Chris Cooper's 9th book. You can get it via the link in the show notes. I recommend you do it. You can also participate in the Golden Hour Challenge. November 1st, Chris is going to lead you through it. Everything that Eric's talked about, all the stuff that's getting him results, think of it, 5% increase of his headcount just from doing this stuff in 60 minutes a day. Chris is going to lead you through this stuff. He's going to help you stack your habits until you create some entrepreneurial skills. Over those 6 weeks, you're going to get a ton of momentum. You're going to get measurable results, and your business is going to move forward. You will find out all about that November 1st in Gym Owners United, where Chris is going to be. Strongly encourage you to do that. And the show is less than an hour. So you can start your golden hour right now by clicking out of here and doing the stuff that Eric said. Turn off your notifications. Start calling members you haven't seen. Eric, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate your time.
Happy to, Mike.
All right. This is Run a Profitable Gym. That was Eric Connor. I'm Mike Workington. Please get that new book, The Golden Hour, Chris Cooper's 9th. It's out now.